Good morning from beautiful Brisbane, Australia. It's Monday morning in this part of the world and it's great to be here with you. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend, and if you're in the northern part of the world, I hope you're enjoying the last few hours of Sunday. Yay! And have you got anything planned for this week? What have you got scheduled in that's going to bring joy to your heart? What have you planned to have a relaxing time? Anyhow, we're not here to talk about planning the joy and relaxing. We're here to talk about this morning about why grounding doesn't work with complex PTSD. And it's a bit of a misnomer to think that grounding is going to work when we're in the middle of a full-blown anxiety attack. And here's why. The neurobiology tells us that we're in the middle of a full-blown anxiety attack and the fear is all-encompassing and we're either in hyper-arousal or hypo-arousal. The parts of our brain that matter at this point in time, so our prefrontal cortex, okay, where we put order into things, and our amygdala, which is the emotional centre, are not connected. The limbic system has flown to the farthest reaches of our body and we're ready to rock and roll to see, we're actually sitting there observing what we need to do to feel safe, okay? Well, our body's going, we're not safe. Our brain's going, we're not safe. Our biology's saying we're not safe. And if the parts of our brain that matter aren't connected, then how are we going to do a grounding exercise? And the reality is, while all that's happening, in the beginning, you can't do a grounding exercise. We're in freeze mode. We literally, and if you can be aware of when you're in freeze mode, your body and your muscles are so tight. Oh no, I don't want to sneeze. I'm so sorry. They're so tight, and if you look down, you can see your hands clenched like this. You can feel your jaw is like tighter than, and tighter than getting a facelift, It is. It's so tight and tense, and when you develop that awareness of your body, you can feel every muscle in your body, and even your toes. Check out your toes, and they'll be curled up like this. That's building the awareness and the understanding that if you're going to sit here and look at 5 things and smell this and touch that, how can you when you can't move? You can't. It's not logical. We're frozen. Okay, so here's how we do get grounding to work. We've got to retrain our mind onto our breath, okay? And we've got to be able to do this when we're not in freeze mode, all right? So that when we're in freeze mode, we can introduce the grounding technique and it will work, all right? So you're in the middle of an anxiety attack and you're trying to introduce a set of steps to ground yourself. Your whole neurobiology is out the door. And it's just not going to happen, because if you introduce grounding into that situation, then your brain's just going to go, what the? And go, oh my goodness, they're trying to introduce something new. How do I process that? And our brain can't process that. And our mind can't process that, because our attention for years has been off on how to keep us safe or how to get through the anxiety attack, because the anxiety attack is so full-blown that it paralyses us, okay? So what we do need to do in order to make grounding work and for it to be effective is we need to be doing it and practicing it before we have an anxiety attack, okay? So it needs to be a daily ritual where for 1 minute every day you take time out from your day-to-day and you go, right, I'm just going to practice this grounding technique and I'm going to feel it. I'm going to let myself breathe. I'm going to focus my mind on my breath and I'm going to let my whole body feel that I'm safe to feel, to smell, to see, to touch, because in grounding we use all of our 5 senses. I'll put a grounding technique down below which is effective as long as we practice before or each day without having an anxiety attack, right? Now, does it make sense why it doesn't work? It's just not going to work in the middle of it all. For other people who don't have complex PTSD, where their brain isn't offline during an anxiety attack, if that's possible, I don't know if grounding works for you or not. But if it doesn't work, this will be why. If the brain's offline, then you need to develop the habit before you have an anxiety attack and make it a daily habit. 1 minute a day to retrain your mind and body and brain that is safe to do the grounding technique will pay off long term. Now, so how can we develop this practice of focusing our mind on our breath in order that we have control over our breath as well? So what I'm saying is the opposite of when we're in, let's just use hypoarousal because that's what I'm used to, when we're frozen. So how do we and why will focusing our mind on our breath get us free? Because when we know that we can focus our mind on our breath and slow breathing, we learn and we develop the habit that we're safe to focus on that breathing, okay? Our mind and our whole system, our whole neurobiological system becomes aware that we're safe to slow our breathing down and be in this present moment. We literally have to do the work to do the retraining. So one of the things that we can do, and we can fit it into our day-to-day life. It doesn't have to be a separate part of our life. It's fitting it into our normal day-to-day life that matters. All right? Otherwise, we're not going to do it. So how do we develop the habit, or what areas of our life can we develop this habit in? Really simple stuff. I've got good news. Okay, so when you're doing the dishes, you can stand there, because let's face it, we've been doing dishes for years. It's automatic. We know what to do. We stand there. We, get the hot water happening, etc., etc. So what we do then is, as we're doing the dishes, even if you stick your phone up there and put a countdown on for 1 minute, do it for longer if you can, but let's just start with 1 minute and just focus your mind on slow breathing, 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out, okay? Optimal breathing, scientifically speaking, is 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out. Train yourself to do it for 1 minute, then you'll know in the middle of an anxiety attack that you can do this, okay? That you can regain control of your breathing and your mind, and it becomes a literal habit. Brain training. So there's brain training apps like Lumosity, and in that brain training, it's fun, it's games, it retrains our brain to focus, to regain memory and more. I used it for a whole year while I was doing counselling training, and it really did help me begin to remember things. But we're going to use it so you can get any type of brain training, and just sit your phone down, put your timer on for a minute and focus your mind on your breathing, 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out. So while you're retraining your brain, you're also retraining your whole system, your mind and your breath to focus and to feel safe to breathe. Because let's face it, we're in the middle of hyperarousal and we don't feel safe to do anything. All right. Trauma-informed movement will help because we focus on our breathing and getting our mind to focus on our breathing, control our breathing, and also moving our body at the same time in a safe environment. So that will help as well. So if a panic attack comes, you know that you're safe to move your body, you're safe to breathe slowly, and you're safe to take your time to get your focus back on into the here and now. So it's a form of mindfulness as well. Computer games. Have you ever thought about that? Okay, so if you've ever played Candy Crush in your life, or actually, I should have checked with the kids what's the latest computer game, but anyhow, if you're playing any kind of computer game, Put a timer on whilst you're playing the game because your brain is engaged elsewhere. What you want to do is engage your mind and your breathing for 1 minute during that game. It's during your day-to-day life. Do it consistently every single day. And anything to do with complex trauma and recovery, moving from recovery to remission, requires consistent commitment to keep doing it every single day. That is consistent commitment. But you've got to want to be well more than you want to be in the same place this time next year. And nobody can drive those drivers inside of you except you. Reading. If you're reading, I love reading. If you're reading, sit there. Again, set your timer for a minute and just focus on breathing 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out. Tell the automatic thoughts to take a back seat. Focus on your reading because you're engaging different parts of your brain, and you're also able to focus on your reading. So there's two things happening. There's when the anxiety attack comes, you know then that you've developed a habit where you can focus your mind on your breathing 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out, and it's going to make you feel a lot more comfortable going through the process. Okay? Now, you must be committed to practice this all the way. Okay? The commitment is to you. It's to your health. It's to creating a healthier life, mind, body, brain, rewiring the whole show. And the only person who can do this is you. We can be your greatest cheer squad, and we are in group. We are your greatest cheer squad. But you've got to set aside 1 minute every single day for you. And I do understand that there will be different parts of your thought process, your automatic thought process. So go into the YouTube list and look for the automatic thought process video to understand how and why they developed and why it's such a challenge for you to even begin doing this process. But I want you to know it's worth it. I've been doing it for 6-7 years now, I can't remember. And it is absolutely worth every step, every minute you take for you to rewire your mind, breath, brain connection. It is worth it, because then this time next year you will have grown, you will have moved, you will have been able to take back a lot of your life, you will be able to interact more in life and regain more of what you've lost. It will not happen overnight. Absolutely not. We all wish it would. Trust me, we all wish it would. But at the end of the day, it will happen. I've gone from not being able to walk, not being able to talk, not being able to think or remember even how to do the most basic of things, and working with our brain, mind, body, brain connection, and the breathing. The breathing is paramount to the changes that happen as well. Okay, I hope this helps. Set your timer every day. Set your alarm every day for the 1 minute that's yours to focus your mind on regulating your breathing. And as it becomes a habit, I guarantee you it will begin to change things up for you as well. Okay, have the most gorgeous day. Remember to hit follow if you're on Facebook, or subscribe if you're on YouTube, so you can find the channel again. There's now over 250 videos there for you to go through that all are like today. They contain the neurobiology, the practicality, and how we can implement it in our already busy lives. Okay, blessings and dreams. Thank you for watching today, and I will see you again tomorrow morning. Bye for now.